Hi there, it's Sam from pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today's project is this one, and this is one of my twist and close boxes, but it's a 5-sided box and it's quite tall. So I've done quite a few of these, and if you haven't seen one, just look under the search term twist and close and you'll see them, and it opens up like that. So it's 5-sided and it just pops itself shut like that. How cute. This one I made quite a while ago and I've got a faceted gem on there. We have since that point in time had blends released, which I didn't have, so I'm going to have a go at colouring a couple of them right here and now before I get started, because I have no idea how long it's going to take to dry. I'm using this paper again, which I've used the same pack of paper for here, but I'm going, and this one's Night of Navy and Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to grab my Night of Navy blends pen. This is the dark one. If you haven't seen them, they come in pairs, dark and light, and then the same with Daffodil Delight, dark and light. Daffodil Delight, dark and light. And it says it on here, light and dark. So let's see what happens when I do a yellow one. Because it's an alcohol marker, it's kind of a bit like a Sharpie. So you can colour. I would do this gently with faceted gems because they are knobbly. And you don't want to bust the tip of your pen. And then I'm going to take the dark Night of Navy. And I am brushing this with the tip, but I'm being quite gentle. And the postman's just turned up outside. I really hope he doesn't need to ring my doorbell. No, he's just delivering. I have a motion sensor on my doorbell, ring.com. That's really cool, isn't it? And so it jangles when somebody comes near my front door. That's cool. So I'm going to pop those off to one side so they dry down. Now, my piece of cardstock I need is 10.5 by 8 inches. I don't remember if I cut this side. No, I didn't. So 10.5 by 8 inches, which is 27 by 20 centimetres, which in metric... Oh yeah, by 27 by 20 centimetres. They throw me because I can see the postman now. So 8 inches by 10.5 inches. So your metric one's going to be very slightly different, 27 by 20. And then I need 5 panels of Designer Series paper that all measure 3 3/4 inches by 1 3/4. So I'm going to make that 3 3/4. And I'm going to cut 5 pieces at 1 3/4. So if your metric, 4.5 by 9.5. Love this paper. So I used scraps of Designer Series paper. Well, I wouldn't exactly call it scraps, but actually I'm left with good working size pieces. So that's why I cut in that direction. There's always method to my madness. Okay, let's move all of those out of the way, get my scoring tool. So on the long side, you need to score this at... Why have I only marked it like that? 2, 4, 6 and 8. You actually need to score it at 10 as well. 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10, which I haven't marked down. So I'm going to write it. Where's my pen? Oh. I've got my notes here to one side. You see, I wrote the imperial, but I didn't write the imperial. And then you need to make a little mark at 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. If you're working in metric, score it at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 and mark it at 2.5, 7.5, 12.5, 17.5, 22.5. And then turn it so that your little marks are to the right hand side and score it at 2 inches and 6 inches, which is 5 and 15 centimetres. Okay, and then you need your steel ruler, and these little marks that I've made there, I'm going to score a line from there to the right hand corner, so scoring to the right hand side of it. And I'm using the smaller end. Press quite firmly or use something spongy underneath. I love grid paper. I actually work off the entire block. I know lots of people take off one sheet at a time, or they've even laminated a sheet. I literally just I work off the entire block, and that to me is quite spongy. Okay, so fold and burnish your score lines. Ignore the diagonal lines at this point in time. We just want to get these bent first. The straight lines, I should say. Now you're going to come and work on these lines, and it's easier. You've got a little tab that side. Work on this one first, which doesn't have a tab, and just gently fold like that. And again, fold in. So it's difficult because the more I fold in, the less you can see. But I'm getting my bone folder in there and pushing firmly to make sure that that crease line is nice and tight. And yes, I just headbutted the camera, well, the tripod anyway. I really want Chris to build me a permanent setup, so that I don't have to set my tripod up every time I film. Haven't yet got around to asking him. Okay, probably ought to. Okay, so a bit at the top, just mitre it off a little bit, tiny little wedge, and then get rid of that little tab there. And cut up the score lines. Fabulous. So that is all the cutting that's needed. So you've got these lovely score lines at the top, and these are all loose, a little bit gone there, and a tiny little wedge there. Now you can come in with your DSP and start sticking that down. So if you've got one of those patterns of paper that is a bit like wallpaper and has a particular repeat, or you want to have the pattern going all the way round, cut your paper logically and then lay it out logically. I'm not overly worried about this because it's going to be whimsy and all over the place, and that's fine. But as you can see, I probably could have fitted a flower. That would have been the other one. I could have put that there. I haven't. I'm just going anywhere I fancy. But yeah, you could be quite logical with a strip that went all the way around your box. Oh, I'm not logical. Apparently not anyway. Right, adhesive down one side. And because this is 5 sides, you kind of need to grab, and you can't push it flat on the table like I would do with a box that's got equal sides. But that's in place. I grab my bone folder and I'm just pushing inside and rubbing on that seam just to make sure it's all firmly pushed into place. And I would suggest before you glue the bottom, just roughly put your bottom panels in place, but actually close the top first, and it will naturally pop round like that because we've got the score lines in. So you just have to poke your fingers in. That's all you do and it's done. And then now you can get these laid up. This is one I would be a liquid glue fan. Let's see if I can reach it. Oh, but it seems to be remarkably empty. So splodge there, splodge there. I'm looking for the seam, I'm looking for the back. There's the back. And this is going to give me a little bit of wiggle room so I can make sure it's all neatly lined up. Gently turn it over, pop it open again, and have something long that you can get inside to push down. So my steel ruler is perfect for that. Pop that off to one side and finish off. So I'm finishing off with some stamping and a gorgeous daisy, because it's Daisy Delight, obviously. I'm going to see how those faceted gems turned out. So I have 2 plain white daisies, and then my stamping on here is just for you. This is from the Christmassy Merry Little Labels, which is just brilliant, but obviously that isn't just for Christmas, so just for you. Onto a block. I've got my Night of Navy ink. Where's my label punch? Everyday Labels. Love this. It's my new best friend. And I'm going to push the wording so it's a little bit more down at the bottom, then I can cover that top bit with a flower. Love these. So I'm going to curl up the edges a little. Just my bone fold. So it's a bit like stripping ribbon, when you would curl that special kind of ribbon that you can get. Same principle. You're gripping your thumb to the bone folder with the piece of paper in between. Don't pull too hard, you end up taking petals off. Oh, I've got everything on Dropsy today over in my adhesive corner. Right, mini glue dot into the middle of there, and it will position itself so that each petal leg falls between another petal leg. There we go, like that. And let's have a look at these faceted gems now. Ooh, nice and dry. I don't know which one, so I'm going to get this on first. I don't know which one to go with. Ooh. Decisions, Samantha. Right. Let me find the back. You know it's a good box when you can't find the back. There's the back. So I'm going to pop that down there. I really can't decide. Ooh. I think it's probably logically going to make sense to have the yellow, but I kind of like the blue. Is there a rule that says you have to have yellow? I like the blue. I'm going to have the blue. Why not? My craft, my rules. Oh, look, I've wibbled it. Ugh. There we go. That is really cute. Oh, I'm going to be putting blends on everything now. Anyway, what do you think? I like it. So this is a twist and close box. It's a little bit different. You can fit tons in there. How wide is it? 3.5 inches wide. How tall? Very. 4 inches tall. So that is 9 inches by about, yeah, about 11.5 inches. Pretty big. But you can see how big it is. Look at it in my hand. Massive. Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the little blends tip. I hope to speak to you very soon. Bye.